Okay, so our next match is Tier 3, and it's going to be between, I think it's Saetzero, and I think there was another substitution, Bahram. And of course, their in-game tags are different. In-game, it says Scythe versus Bahram. It was originally Saetzero versus mLty, but I think someone was telling me that mLty was substituted.
Oh man, these tier 3 players stir the pot, man.
Yeah, they're worse than the pros with switching their tags.
Yeah, switching their IDs.
I'm not really sure, so I could just post based on the in-game stuff here.
And now in the top right, Protoss. In the bottom left, Protoss.
Yeah, they're not helping us out whatsoever here. But yeah, it's gonna be PvP. And yeah, also I'm not 100% sure who's on Team Drag and who's on Samyang. But we're just gonna get into it.
Yeah, someone's gonna win. Maybe.
I should just say like player from Drag, player from Samyang.
We've got Scythe X in the north and I have casted Bahram before. Yeah, I've casted. Actually, I casted. I think I casted as PvP before as well. But yeah. Anyway, I really like PvP at tier 3 because if you watch PvP at the really high levels, it's like, you know, oh, this guy has 1 Dragoon more because of some minor inefficiency, and now because he has perfect mechanics, he's gonna win. But at tier 3, that's not the case at all. You get to see a lot of scrappy fights, a lot of expansions taken. Shuttle Reaver play. I know that the Team 5 Protosses, we were really heavily using Shuttle Reaver for a time in PvP, like 1 base Shuttle Reaver. So
yeah, it's a great matchup. The number one question is someone gonna 2-gate? That's the number one early game question between a PvP at tier 3. I know for myself personally, what I like to do is I would start game 1 doing some type of aggressive build, whether it's a 10-12 double gateway or something that's like a proxy. I would like to start aggressive and then kind of see how their micro is, see how they're able to macro behind it to kind of gauge my opponent.
Right.
But it looks like both of these guys are starting with just 1 gate, and I imagine they're gonna get gas soon. Okay, yeah, so there's gas for Scythe.
Yeah, I think Bahram's build is just slightly behind because they had a probe that was idle, unfortunately, from like 6 supply all the way to 9. So Bahram is significantly behind in terms of money, but that's just, you know, that's just a minor mistake. Scythe getting gas, Bahram getting gas, so his build is not too far behind, but he's definitely behind in income. We're only just finishing right now. And it looks like it's going to be one base tech from Scythe, getting the cybernetics core. Now I know another build that's really, really strong on this map is 3-gate Goon, because it is a reverse ramp map, and once Goons get control over the top of your ramp, it's basically impossible to break out. So a lot like on maps like Gladiator, Jade, you get this rock, paper, scissors effect of DT openings beating 3-gate Goon, beating 2-gate Observer,
correct,
DT. So, you know, waiting until the builds diverge. Scythe is definitely going for Dragoon-based play, getting range already.
Yeah, I'm just this is a little unfortunate because it seems like ever since that first pro pickup, Bahram is just a few steps behind. He is building a Dragoon before range.
Yeah.
But Other than that, it just seems like he's doing the same build, slightly slower.
I think this is a good adjustment. I don't know if Barham noticed the mistake, but getting the Dragoon out before range is good if you feel like you're behind. Because Scythe was obviously hitting his build, so he opted for range before Dragoon, but now they're pretty much on track as soon as Barham starts his... Oh, he's actually going to go for a robotics facility, though, so...
Yeah. He went straight into robotics, I think, before range. So, he must not be... Which is actually kind of interesting, because he scouted range from Scythe, so I would actually be a little scared here if I was
think Scythe has reason to be worried, too, because, I mean, Scythe... Look, I don't know what this probe is doing in the top left. I think that's maybe a misclick, but Scythe still has not yet scouted Barham.
Correct. Yeah, I think he scouted the left base, and then it was kind of sitting there for a good minute or two. It's always important, as soon as you see that the opponent is not there, you have to immediately send your scout to the other location. Especially in PvP, because he could be getting 3-gate gooned all in right now, or he could have... He could have
gotten 12 Nexus and have 40 probes right now.
Yep. He could have went Nexus. He could have went Dark Templar tech. Had a Saetzero already up. And he does block the ramp. I was a little worried because his units were away from it. But, yeah, full denial on the scout for Scythe. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts.
Yeah, that's so well done. I mean, he did see 2 Zealots, so that gives him a little bit of information. But I think he's got to be completely in the dark as to what Barham is doing, because it's actually going to be Shuttle Reaver on one base, only getting Dragoon speed or Dragoon range right now, and Scythe is just opening 2-gate obs, so he has a very standard build. I think he should be able to absorb this all right as long as he knows it's coming. But again, he doesn't have any information as to what's coming, so he's got to now prepare himself for everything.
Well,
preparing yourself from everything might just put him at enough of a disadvantage to bring Barham back ahead economically.
Well, the good news is he's got one observer out, but it looks like he's not going to send it into the base. He's actually holding it at his natural. Maybe he's suspecting Dark Templar. It is common if they are doing a DT build that they would have more Zealots, because you bank your gas to get the Templar archives. So... not a bad idea, but I personally would always send your observer into his base, especially if you were denied that early scouting.
And Scythe was pooling up quite a bit of money for some time, decides to spend it on a Nexus. I think that was just indecision as to what kind of tech path he wanted to go down. And now I think Barham is going to poke at the front, but this is just a distraction. I mean, he's going to try and pull these units away from the front and then drop them into the main.
Correct. The Reaver is out, and it's going to hit the back mineral line, it looks like.
And behind this, Barham is expanding, so this is not heavily committed aggression. He's probably going to be at least on par with Scythe economically. Yeah,
I actually like what I'm seeing a lot from Bahram, despite the early hiccup. Oh, that's a juicy hit.
Very nice. Whoa, these are huge hits. Oh my gosh. I want to see how many kills.
One more! Do it! Hit him!
They're all messed up. Will he select?
Oh
my gosh.
Save it! Oh, the Dragoon are glitching.
Oh man.
And he's gonna get out safely as well. That was an excellent trade for Bahram. Completely dwindled down the probe count for Scythe.
And if this were a game with Korean Gosus, we'd be calling this game over right now. But of course, it's not over yet. Obviously, Barham is now at a huge advantage. Excuse me. Nexus is about to finish. Barham's already saturated his natural, but of course his main is quite depleted now. Moving up to 4 gateways. What is the gateway count for Barham? It looks like Barham is only now adding a 2nd gateway. So there was maybe an opportunity for a counter push for Scythe, but obviously you're always afraid of that Reaver coming back in.
Yeah, and actually, the vibe I'm getting is that Scythe wants to almost go all in on a counter here, which I don't think is going to work, because he has stopped pro production.
Oh,
or actually, he just started it up now. Now he started up, but as soon as he lost those probes, he needed to be rebuilding probes immediately, because that's his biggest supply problem right now, because Barham also has his natural expansion up. He just has a lot more probes. And
this is a big issue for Scythe now. I think the main issue with Scythe's play that I'm seeing is this lack of scouting. He's got this observer inside the main, but he hasn't seen the gateway count, and he hasn't seen the expansion. And if you don't see either of those, you can never be sure as to what they're doing. You know, Barham, again, could have built up to like 5 gateways and gone for a really aggressive all-in push on the back of that Reaver attack. Or he could be expanding and droning.
The Reaver! The Reaver got into the natural. I think it got some hits off.
Oh man, yeah. I think it got a huge hit off. He only 6 probes at the natural. Wow, this economy is just so shattered for Scythe.
Looks like he is going to finish off that shuttle. And I think for Scythe this is go time. Although unfortunately we got 2 Reavers, and he's going to have to push up a ramp.
Yeah, the only chance for this to work is to go up and around to the wider ramp near the 3rd base, but if trying to push up this narrow ramp with Dragoons is absolute suicide. Even if the Zealots lead first, Reavers will just demolish everything on that ramp. It's a nearly impossible position to attack into. Now Barham is going to upgrade to +1 weapons and continue probe production, so...
Right. Man. I actually, if I was in Scythe's position, I think I would try to get to Storm Tech, because Storm can definitely counter Reaver Dragoon, because you need something that's going to deal a lot of splash damage and help you get back in this game.
Yeah, I actually love this Reaver positioning for a Barham, because this Reaver can shoot around these corners very easily, but the Dragoons can't counterattack it very easy. That said, he's pushing down the ramp, which I think is a mistake. I mean, this is an unnecessary risk for Barham for sure. He's just thinking he can end the game, and that Reaver dies without doing anything. Yeah,
that was actually a very questionable trade. And he actually has a bunch of units back here, Zealots, that were not in the fight, that he's going to wish he had. And it looks like Barham is also not macroing very well behind this. He's up to 1,000 minerals. He just now clicked all of his gateways, but yeah, this game's going back and forth.
Yeah, still ahead in supply, but a lot of it is in probes. You know, he lost the shuttle, he lost the Reaver, and now look at this defense. He's got 2 Dragoons and a Zealot versus 5 Goons. If Scythe was able to get enough of a concave, I don't know why he's going home here. I think this is a mistake. This is just.
Oh wow! Look at the goons that are coming down from his natural.
This is a big attack. So
he needs to.
These reinforcements.
Yeah, what I would do is take these reinforcements, come around the left, use the big ramp, and get a nice concave to the left of the natural. I don't.
Would be a winning strategy, I think.
I don't like this.
Work this Reaver does. He's doing much so far. This is just sledgehammering up this ramp right now.
I mean, it's all right. The Reaver goes down, but not the most efficient trade here.
Yeah, it's just attacking up that ramp is too difficult. I think if they had gone with the plan you suggested, and going up the wide ramp as well as the narrow ramp, maybe hitting at the wide ramp first and trying to establish a concave, maybe it would have worked. Honestly, Scythe had enough to break that, honestly, with a little bit more finesse in that attack, but...
Yeah, that may... I don't want to call it, but that may have been the opportunity, because now it looks like the Dragoon count kind of flip-flopped.
Yeah, and Barham is going to have +1 attack right now, so he's actually timing this attack perfectly with +1. It literally just finished. And now Barham is going to be pushing across the map. Sensing that was an all-in from Scythe, perhaps, and trying to understand where his forces are at.
Scythe needs to go up on his own ramp now and hold the ramp from the high ground. Taking this in the middle is not the best idea, although kind of sloppy movement here. Oh, that Reaver needs a shuttle.
Here, yeah, this is just a naked Reaver. He's going to kill all the Dragoons and then kill the Reaver. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay, he went for the Reaver pickoff. Yeah.
I mean, and Scythe's economy is not bad at this point. Like, what?
Oh, interesting. He calls it there. That's, well, I mean, he's not wrong. But I mean, that was a little curious, because he's about to send 5 Dragoon versus these 3. I mean, there's more units on the way for Bahram, but...
I felt like he actually took a pretty good engagement. He bought himself a little bit of time. If he just backed up a little bit and defended, you know... I mean, maybe that's the thing. He you know, you get in this mindset of like, oh, I lost so many probes early, I'm gonna all-in this fool and, like, try to knock him out of the game, and then your all-in doesn't work. Like, even if you take a good fight, you might feel like you're just so far behind that you have no chance of winning, having done no economic damage to him, and, you know, that may be true, but again, we saw Bahram fumble the fights a little bit, so I think there was definitely a chance for Scythe to come back in that game. Like, make no mistake about it, he was very far behind, but he had rebuilt his economy. It was not significantly worse than Bahram's, and Bahram was floating a lot of money. So
yeah, I think that was the key there. Is Scythe didn't? I think Scythe assumed that the macro of Bahram was matching his own, and I think if it was, he would have had even more units. But the fact of the matter was, I think at the end of the game, he had almost 2k minerals that he was stacking.
Minerals and about 400 gas. So, I mean, that's a lot of zealots that you can make out of 5 gateways. But again, you know, it's one of those things where I think that defeat was as much mental as it was, you know, the actual result of the game. But
yeah, in his defense, when you get blown up in your probe line,
oh yeah,
a couple times, it just you're already ready to quit the game. So
yeah,
a few fights not going his way, I don't blame him. It just, having seen the whole picture, you know, we have this biased viewpoint where we think, oh, you know, you could have easily kept fighting, maybe pulled off some 6 storms, but...
For sure. And you always expect your opponent to have more than they actually have, because in your mind, you know what they're probably capable of, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily executing the macro in the fights to the standard that you have elevated your opponent to after you get, you know, demolished in your probe line, like that kind of thing. But I mean, I think Scythe did a really good job of trying to get back into that game, for sure. Like, not giving up once his probe line was decimated. And the only real mistake I saw that game, which is a big mistake but an easy one to fix, is the scouting situation.
Yeah, I think the scouting situation was problematic, and then also, well, I guess twofold on the scouting, because he didn't scout well with the probe, and then first observer should have been sent right to the base. He would have seen the Reaver tech, and then once you see the Reaver tech, you just leave a few goons by your mineral line. That could have helped a lot. And then after the Reaver hit, instantly, constantly building probes, hotkey both your nexuses on 0 and 9, or however you like to do it, just constantly build. That's what I like to do. I like to just hotkey both my nexuses, 0 and 9, and every few seconds I'm doing 9p, 0p. So
yeah.
All right, game 2. We're ready to go. It's going to be on Fighting Spirit. So we'll see what the boys bring in terms of builds this time. Got a nice open 4-player map.
And neither player really opting for like any super early aggression in that game. Like Bahram went for the tech play with the shuttle Reaver, but it was more of a tricky play. Like I'm pretty sure Bahram knew that he had denied scouting, which is why he went for that poke at the front to try and lure the army away from the main, and you know, executed it absolutely fantastically. You know, those Reaver shots were great. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to repeat that again. It's actually a better map to do it on, Fighting Spirit, than Aztec. Although I guess that's debatable, because Aztec, the mains are very exposed. If you look
at you don't have a lot of room behind the minerals.
Right, exactly. And I think that there are more ways on Fighting Spirit to drill your probes between your Sim City in such a way that the Reaver shots will dud. Bahram, again, I'm sending out 2 probes, so this is going to be a proxy 2-gate in the center of the map, and we'll see if Scythe is going to have the or no, is this double scout? Like, what is this?
I think what he's doing is he's doing a 2-gate from home, but he wants to know where his opponent is immediately. Or he could, now, I don't really, he might just be checking, is my opponent next to me? If my opponent is next to me, I'm going to build 2 gates. If he's not next to me, I'm going to do a standard build. I could be reading into this, but that's what I'm sensing here. Because I personally wouldn't send out 2 probes. I think that's too much of an economic. Oh, he's going for a forge.
Oh, so he's going to cannon rush the main is what he's going to do. But this is already scouted. Like, Scythe knows this. I mean, if a probe shows up in my base at 1 minute and 11 seconds, I know something is screwy.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to try and make this work, but, I mean, the gateway's already done. Look, he's even building this in view. So, this is not going to work, even in the slightest. I mean...
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's going to get, like, 2 zealots up, and it's going to be over.
Now, he does have his second probe here, so what he might do... He's going for a manor pylon, although I don't think he really trapped any. It was kind of a whiff.
Yeah, just whiffed it.
And we have the zealot already 2/3 done for Scythe. First cannon's warping in, already getting... Oh, wow, the probe just killed it. Yeah, cannons
suck, man.
Cannons take a ton of damage as they're warping in. And look, okay,
Yeah.
here's the zealot.
Probe versus zealot. Where?
And it doesn't look like he's getting cancels off on these cannons.
Yeah, I mean...
Which is kind of a problem. Let's see if he cancels it. Okay, that one he canceled.
Cancel that one.
But...
oh, and now he takes his gas, like, yay.
Did he steal it, or is that...
Actually, it might not even stole it. I thought the probe was right there, but I think he lost one of the probes, so maybe not. Maybe he just took his gas at a normal time, like, you know, now he's going to supply block him by destroying the manor pylon.
Oh, this is kind of cute. If he could have walled himself behind the minerals and got a cannon up, it looks like this one, I don't know if it's going to finish.
I mean, even if it does, like, this is I know he's in a difficult situation now because he's committed so heavily to this, and all he has back at home is a forge and literally nothing else, but
yeah.
I don't know, this doesn't strike me as...
I mean, personally, I think on a map like Fighting Spirit, this isn't that strong because the main base actually isn't that large. There's some bases where you can totally get away with this and just hide in a corner, but on Fighting Spirit, I just don't really see it.
Yeah, and I think you were gonna say something beforehand, but we got interrupted by the action. But he could have started this cannon rush up at the top and started building cannons at the bottom and sort of inch his way towards.
Right, like some type of diversion might have been worthwhile.
Big desperation play. I mean, Barham is not going to get supply blocked by losing this pylon, but this is all just money down the drain, and he's going to transition into a 2-gate behind this, or 3-gate, sorry. So this is like...
Yeah, so...
3-gate zealot.
Instead of this third gateway, he probably could have just made gas and cybernetics, or even just cannon up, or get a battery, because he doesn't have the economy to build off of these 3 gateways. And he's so behind tech-wise.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no gas. There's no cybernetics core.
Oh,
this is just gonna be a slow sell it all in.
Interesting. Scythe is actually going for Dark Templar behind this, which is actually. Actually, I don't know if I like that because you know he has the forge, so he just builds 1 cannon, and he shuts that down. So if that's the game plan, this might actually not go as this game might go longer than it should, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. But
yeah, it's kind of a strange interaction, isn't it? It's like, oh, he cannon rushed me, so I'm gonna go DT, and it's like, well, they already have the counter to that. You know, it's sort of like the idea behind the stove of like, I'm gonna go scout, so they build turrets, and then I'm gonna go Dark Templar, you know, or other way around. Excuse me. It's like you're just expect him to not build a cannon. I think Barham putting pressure on here. I think he could actually just, you know,
Scythe putting pressure.
Just kill him. Yeah, exactly. I think Scythe could maybe just kill him with
although
micro, not with this probe here.
I don't know. It's
But
Barham is actually doing a great job with a pure Zealot army. I would have liked to see Scythe go into Dragoons.
He is now, so he's got Goon range on the way, and he's got 2 Goons building, and Zealot legs, so it's not DT, actually. He's just gonna go Zealot legs and just have better Zealots than Barham is.
Huh.
And I think that's just a very, like, simple plan to win the game.
Yeah.
Which is actually, like, really... You know, this time Scythe has full vision of everything. He knows that Barham still has 0 gas.
Ooh.
And so he's just gonna build a bigger and better army and just win. Like, this expansion is very risky, but...
It is risky.
Oh, this is a good engagement for Barham, actually. Like, he's got
good.
Fighting, though.
He has a decent concave, and some of the Zealots were hitting buildings, but I don't think he has enough.
Yeah, now Goons are in place, so Goons can micro to their heart's content against slow Zealots, and he's just gonna try and bust this down. The Nexus is allowed to finish, so no last-minute loss of focus by Barham. He's gonna go with this Nexus and just hope he survives. But this is 3-gate, no gas.
You got cannons warping in, but now the Dragoons are jumping on the cannons here, and we still only have Zealots popping out. So with good micro, I think this might be the end for Barham. Or at least
so.
the end for game 2.
Yeah, again for game 2, right, because they'll be tied up 1-1. And looks like, yeah, Goons, you know, Goons are too good against slow Zealots, man. He's gonna build these cannons, but, like, what's a cannon gonna do? Cannon is like a worse Dragoon that doesn't move, so...
You are right.
So it's like, oh, and look at, he's building probes from the Nexus. This is so greedy. Like, what is the recourse here? Is he gonna use these probes as fighting units?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know, man. Maybe he's just hoping that Scythe is not gonna attack for a long enough period of time that he's able to build up Zealots and hold this economic advantage. Probes are just happily mining away. Not a single unit of gas has been mined yet.
I think right here what he's doing is he's thinking about game 3.
Yeah, for sure. I'm messing around, but like, yeah, that's realistically what's going on here. He's practicing his 0p 9p for when he's gonna build more probes in this game. I
guess so. All right, well we got a tight one here, 1-1.
Yeah, that was just a really good takedown by Scythe. Like, I loved his reaction. Like, he didn't even let a single cannon go up. He wasn't spamming out Zealots, like, in a desperate move. He knew he could handle everything with probes in the one Zealot. He continued to make probes. He built his core on time, got his gas on time, continued to tech up, and matched the gateway count of Barham with higher tech, and was just able to easily close out that game. That was just like a calculated takedown after that cannon rush, so that was very impressive. That was an excellent reaction.
Absolutely. The only thing I would have liked to see sooner is maybe get the Dragoons going a little sooner. But
for sure.
Range
was almost done.
It was interesting he went for legs like that, but as long I mean. At least he didn't try for Dark Templar. Then I would have been definitely shaking my head, but...
yeah, that would have been questionable. But...
I mean, it works, so... But he got the W. And now we're in game 3, and we are on Autobahn. Now, I think Autobahn would almost be a better map for like a cannon rush. You can hide in the edges of the base, but...
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, those mains are brutal, man. Those mains are gigantic. You can hide, like, you know, a command center in there. SCV rush the guy. They'll never know.
All right, game 3 between Barham and Scythe. Here we go.
So if I was Scythe, I'd be shaking in my boots because this clown just did 2 aggressive plays on you in a row. And he was able to scout one of them and deal with it accordingly, and he died to the shuttle reaver. So I would definitely be on the alert for cheese and something off kilter. I would put down one pylon and scout immediately, man. You're running that probe all over.
I agree, especially since Bahram chose this 2-player map. So
yeah, that's a good point.
He probably is liking the fact that he knows the starting locations.
Yeah, for sure. And this is also another amazing, I say this every cast it feels like, but this is an amazing proxy map because there's so many places to proxy. Like, probably one of the most lethal for PvP is you put it at that third base. It's on the high ground, right outside the natural. They almost never scout there, and it is so close that you can just rally zealots all day and there's nothing they can do. It is so brutal. I've seen so many tier 3s die to that. But neither player are going to be opting for that, it looks like.
Yeah, perhaps they both sense the pressure of the game 3 and they just play standard.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate mind game from Bahram. Just play standard after you win for the 12 forged cannon rush, double scout at like 5 supply. But look at Bahram. Bahram is scouting for proxies, so maybe
Smart.
He's the one that's feeling the pressure.
I like it.
Saetzero is just gonna scout straight, and the thing is, if as long as you open with like a regular build, you're actually pretty okay as long as you can micro your probes effectively, because you can just look at their base and see if they don't have anything. And if you show up, you can just count their probes. If they have a lot of probes, they're gonna try and 12 next you or do something weird. And if they don't have a lot of probes, they're proxy. So he's gonna just see a normal build though. So at this point, no need to even look for proxies.
Okay, he was positioned. I thought he was gonna do a late second gate, but he actually just went into cybernetics.
And actually, Bahram kind of stalled his probe outside of Scythe's base a little bit, so he's a little bit late to see the build, maybe concerned with the probe that was inside of his own base and building his core, but now he's going to see everything, and they have mirrored builds.
Correct.
Nothing too awful yet. It looks like Bahram, well, I don't know. Both players are continuing to probe through this supply block, so I don't know. Is this a normal part of the build to get supply blocked at 17?
Not quite. I think they. So what you're supposed to do is build the pylon on 15. So I usually go zealot and then immediately pylon and then continue probing. If you do it in any other order, I think you might face a temporary supply block. I also, these guys put down their cybernetic before their zealots, or kind of like at the same time. I usually go zealot, pylon, core, zealot. That's usually what I do.
Yeah, I think it's a really strong build on this map in particular because the choke is so narrow and it's not on a ramp. So if you have nothing at all there, it's so easy to get busted. But like look at how large one dragoon and one zealot at your ramp or at your choke point is. It fills that gap almost entirely, so you're able to prevent any crazy run buys or anything. And it looks like it's going to be DT from Scythe.
No, it's going to be legs again. I do not. I'm just going to say right out, I do not know this build.
This is bizarre.
This is the first time I've seen a zealot leg timing attack. I'm assuming that's what it is, because he's got two gates.
Yeah, I think Bahram is going to go for Reaver. So as long as he doesn't get caught out with his Reaver on the map or something like that.
Ooh, this might be. No, this is going to be 3-gate robo. Or 3-gate robo into observer.
3-gate robo, got it. Yeah.
So this is basically the safest build you can do.
And he's already got 3 dragoons out. Oh, Scythe. I don't know why I'm surprised. I was like, wow, he's got a lot of zealots, and I remember he's got legs. It's like all of my preconceived notions of PvP are just flip-flopped right now.
Yeah, and he only has 2 probes on gas, which makes sense because he doesn't need as much. And he's getting a forge now. Okay, okay. So one thing he might be doing is he might be trying to get a forge expand, and he's just going to try and defend with zealot legs. But again, I still have never really seen this. But legs are done, and he is coming in here hot.
Yeah, he's gonna be hitting with 5 zealots and 1 dragoon against 4 goons and 1 zealot. So if
he gets a nice surround,
he's just got to run on top of these dragoons.
Okay, he's got to move this one back immediately. Oh, yeah. Come back! Back into the base.
Back towards the natural. No, he's moving out towards the natural, so he's drawing them. Oh, I don't know. This is a hesitation.
Oh, get that one back. Just micro the 1 dragoon. Okay. He's got a micro.
Zealot on top of his only dragoon.
He's got to move these dragoons a little bit more. This is crucial. I would just retreat.
Rallied in. Oh, he's gonna retreat now. Well, one thing zealot legs are very good at is allowing your zealots to retreat. So at least they're gonna escape with their lives. But I don't think Barham microed that perfectly, but he handled the attack. So.
And he did macro behind it. So. He certainly did enough, and he's already got the observer out. Oh, and he snuck a probe in here. Very smart.
Everything.
That was very smart.
And the dragoon is even going to push it towards the edge of the base, so he knows there's no hidden tech or anything like that. Cannon in the main. What is going on here? So I guess he's afraid of Reaver.
Yeah, but that's not even going to stop a Reaver because of the range. That's almost like a DT cannon.
Yeah, like he could put the Reaver in like the far top right, or the far top left, and it wouldn't even affect it. So now he's gonna add more gateways, and he's getting an upgrade. I don't know. This is weird. This is like, I feel like if you're gonna do like a big committed zealot legs attack, you'd want to drop the forge first, and then start your upgrade earlier, so that you hit with +1. That makes a big difference against dragoons.
Yeah, that's almost like a PVZ build. Like that 730. Exactly. Legs +1 timing attack.
Well.
Yeah.
But now Barham is going to feel really safe. I mean, you deflect that attack and you pretty much get the scout off. You know everything that he's going to have. So just why not take the Nexus? And he's going to have a nice stable defensive position here.
And I love this. He's got 1 observer over the army of Scythe. Sees it, and then he's got another observer going in, checking the natural first. Doesn't see an expand. So now he's going into the base.
Yeah, this is great. Barham is playing with basically perfect information right now. Now he's going to take the engagement, but this dragoon count is overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, in high numbers, dragoon beat zealot, and wow, Scythe is going to tap out.
Yeah, I don't know if he even saw the Nexus, but I don't know what that build was. That was weird. I don't know. My advice for that game would be don't do that build. Don't do zealot legs into forge into 3-gate cannon.
I couldn't agree more. Kind of yeah, not trying to be hypercritical, but I'm just not sure if that build works against something as standard as 3-gate Probo.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine what kind of build that would have actually worked against. Like, if he maybe went for, like, a 1-gate tech play or something like that, and you were able to surround Reaver or something, like,
yeah, he might have been thinking, this guy's going to have a low Dragoon count, and he's just going to have 1 Reaver and a shuttle.
Yeah.
And it might have...
thought he was going to go for an expansion with, like, behind 4 Dragoons and 1 Zealot or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was no such expansion. He was just continuing to rally units, so the attack didn't